I'm Scott Fishman.
I'm John Dwoskin.
And this is the 7-Minute Salesman.
Welcome, everybody.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on, man?
Scott, good morning. How are you? It's actually not morning. It's in the afternoon, but I'm used to saying good morning to you when we do.
I'll take it.
How you doing, man? How you and Beth doing in the quarantine?
You know what? We are doing well. It's kind of weird. You know, I'm a homebody as it is, so
Yeah.
I don't mind not leaving the house. But when you want to, and you're like, gosh, I really just want to get out for a second, and you can't. That's what's kind of weird.
Yeah,
Sure.
I know. Yeah, I, Joanna, and both my kids are homebodies as well, and so I find myself very grateful to be home with my teenage kids and my wife, of course, but my teenage kids who have been teenagers lately, and now we have some quality time together. So,
right. So
yeah.
cool.
But what I do find is being home and not being able to do those things like you're talking about. It's it's finding that personal time and kind of restructuring my day to do certain things that I usually had time to do in my car.
Right.
Yeah.
You're so right about that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm behind on listening to podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
Just behind on so many little things, audiobooks, catching up on reading, which is good. So I guess there's a little bit of a bright side, but yeah, it's weird. And I've mentioned a couple times on our show we've had less downloads, and I guarantee it's because people aren't working out as much.
Right.
So they're not listening. People aren't driving as much. So at the end of the day, not being able to work out is my big issue. So I do have to find like either push-ups or, break out those dumbbells a little bit, something to get some energy.
Beachbody has some free weeks. Peloton has 3 months free on their apps. Those are two good apps.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll have to try. How much you get commission for saying that?
Nothing. No commission at all.
Dude, I already have a beach body anyway. So what are we going to talk about? Beached whale, I think.
Yeah, kick us off.
All right. So, John, we were talking a little bit offline, and something that struck me with this whole working from the house, living from work.
Yeah.
We're all in one building all the time. Just the idea, and it was two separate ideas of clocking out, punching out when you're working from the house.
That's so smart. And when we talk about clocking out, I think a lot of times people may hear that as, start work at 9, clock out at 5, but there's really when I hear that, a lot of variations, and the people that I'm talking to and you're talking to are working home, working remotely, and right now their kids are also home.
Yeah.
And so it's not about just clocking out at the beginning and at the end of the day that we're typically wired that way. But clocking out, I have a lot of clients who their kids are home, they're young kids, and they've got to clock out from like 12 till 2, right? Because they've got to feed their kids, they got to put them down for a nap, they have to do things. And these are moms and dads, because everybody's, no nannies are coming in, no housekeepers are coming in. I mean, no grandparents are coming in. And so it's really just having to clock out without guilt.
Right. Without feeling guilty. That is big. Yeah. And it's funny because we always talked about, I worked remotely for a long time, almost every single day. And that guilt piece was kind of weird because one of the reasons why the company I work for always hesitated to let more people work remote was because they were afraid of what would happen when they lost control, when they couldn't have eyes on somebody. And I think what we're finding is that, it's really not that big of a deal. People want to work. People are thankful they have jobs right now.
Absolutely.
And so that guilt piece is definitely something to get over. Like, you have a life. You've got, your kids would normally be in school or in daycare. You've got pets to take care of. You've got, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the middle of a conference call and I've gotten a delivery, like a grocery delivery, because I'm afraid to go to the grocery store, right? So I'm like, hey, everyone, hold on a second. And they're like, what are you doing? I said, well, groceries are here. And they're like, it's so weird, but it's what we're going through now. It's not the new normal. I hesitate to say the new normal. It's one of those things that I'm getting really sick of people saying, because I don't think this is the new normal. I think it's, the new now. It's what we're going through is how we're living now. and we just have to get used to it for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. A couple of thoughts and comments I have on that. One, thank you to all the people working at the grocery stores. I think a lot of times people forget about them, and they're doing a huge service. We use Instacart a ton, and
Mhm.
God bless them. But I think you're right. People want to work. They're grateful that they still have jobs, and they want to contribute to something bigger. And I think companies, at least I'm seeing that as well, companies are not only realizing that their people are committed and glued, but they're also, what I'm seeing is a lot of companies investing more in their people than ever before. They're doing, and I can speak firsthand and what I'm seeing, doing workshops for their people on how to actually take care of themselves, how to
Right.
time management, how to giving them, and I think this is really important for every salesperson and business owner who's out there, is giving your people permission to do what we're talking about right now, which is restructuring the structure of their day. Because once they get permission, they will rise up, because they
Yeah.
will, they'll be able to focus. And I think that's really, really important, is really nurturing your people and giving them. I have a client who always says this, and she always says, you have to give yourself grace. And that's true. You really have to give yourself grace right now.
Yeah. I like that. We have to show our people that we trust them
Yeah.
and give them autonomy, especially like one of the things we talk about is you're not driving to and from work, right? So you're probably starting your day a little bit sooner. You're not
Hmm.
getting to the office and then having to go through all the normal motions of what you're doing, then get your coffee, then get this, and then maybe go down to the cafeteria and grab breakfast. It's all right there. Your bathroom breaks are shorter. Everything is shorter. You're at the house, like you're in your comfort zone. So we can give people a little bit more leeway to take time during the day to live their life.
Yeah.
And we don't need to check up on them so often. At the end of the day, we're all going to be there. The results are going to be there. People want to work. We've established that. We've figured that out. I think as a country, we've figured out that remote work actually works,
Hmm.
which is crazy. But maybe as a world, I should say, as a world, we figured out that remote work works. But at the end of the day, just giving people the room, not feeling guilty if you're taking the time off in the middle of the day, it'll take you far.
Well,
You're
yeah,
allowed.
absolutely. And I think the key, Fish, on what you're talking about is, if you know what you're doing, if you understand your specific and measurable leading activities or goals for the day, if you have measurable deadlines and you can rewind and work backwards and just get everything done that you need to get done, while also, if needed, being strategic to plan your next day or your week, and be
Mhm.
nimble, as long as you're getting your work done and you are doing it well, then and you, then that's all you really need to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
not all,
sure.
but you need to do. But that's critical as being a team player right now.
Right. I agree. And I do, I just thought of something that I want to circle back to after we talk about the rest of this punching out, clocking out situation that we brought up. Cause I did notice a very strange byproduct of working from home this past week that
What is that?
we'll get to it at the end. It's more of we'll
A
circle back,
cliffhanger?
but yeah, a little cliffhanger, but I
All
also
right.
figure I want to complete this thought because we were talking about the whole clocking out piece and
Yeah.
the importance of it. And what's funny is this whole conversation up to now was something that you and I came up with almost on the fly as we were discussing this topic. And the whole reason I came up with what I wanted to talk about today is because one of our topics was go to work when you're working from home. Like get
Yeah.
dressed, take a shower, start your day, like as if you were going to work.
Yeah.
And something I've noticed with myself and the people that report to me is that people aren't leaving work. And, some people have no problem like, hey, it's 6 o'clock, I'm done. See ya.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that are like 9-10 o'clock still grinding
Yeah.
because they're literally in the exact same space that they've been working in all day at their kitchen table or wherever they're working. There is no like cutoff. So
Right.
we need to cut off, like if you need to just unplug your computer, if you need to turn off your internet, whatever you need to do, just shut down and give up at some point for the day, because some people are workaholics. They will go 11:59 and 59 seconds. They're still working. They work the entire day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think now more than ever, Fish, we have to make sure that we're carving out time to shut down so we can refuel reset, and be ready for the next day. There is so much work that needs to be done during a day. And on top of that, there's a lot of energy to figure out how to do it in today's world and market. There's a lot of news coming everybody's way, and there's more constant different responsibilities and tentacles of responsibilities all at the same time right now. So I think it's really important to unplug, and it's okay not to watch the news every night. Sometimes
Please
you got to unplug from that as well, or sometimes limit the amount of news. I find there's Morning Brew. Have I told you about? Did I send you Morning Brew? Morning Brew is a great daily blog that comes. It's just a great rundown where it's not too heavy, but it kind of gives you everything that's going on. But I think it's important. You got to take care of yourself during this. And I love how you put it, the new now.
Absolutely.
That's a great way of putting it. So well said.
Thank you. And now here's the piece that I want to circle back on, that it actually hit me this week. And it's something that literally I don't think we had thought of at all. Is something you and I touched on in the beginning when we started working from home. We had an episode where we talked about, top things you can do. And one of the things we touched on is when you work from home, you can sometimes feel isolated.
Yeah.
Like, is my boss mad at me? I asked him a question or her a question and she hasn't gotten back to me in an hour. What did I do wrong? Am I going to get fired? You climb into your own head a little bit because you're not getting that constant feedback. You're not looking someone in the eye as they're speaking. You don't know that someone's in a meeting, so they haven't answered you for 2 hours because they're in a conference call themselves.
Right.
So we tend to freak out. So here's something, at least that I've noticed, because the company I work for, we never had remote leaders. And I hadn't thought about this, but leaders can feel isolated as well. If they send a message or I send a message to my direct reports and I get no feedback, I just get dead air, I don't know that they're working on this stuff. And they might be working their ass off and doing exactly what I'm asking them to do, but without that direct feedback, without being able to see a head nod or heck, even be able to look at them and see that they're actually working, I'm wondering if my message was received.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point in the sense of everybody's rebuilding new muscles right now.
Yeah.
And how to oversee and just, and I think this is what I'm hearing you say is, and I agree with what you're saying is, A, don't let your mind get away with you, and B, right now specifically, give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, give them feedback too.
And give them feedback. Yeah. I like that. Always good. A good message on the importance of effective communication, over communicating, and over communicating today doesn't mean you have to reply with 9 sentences or 2 paragraphs. But again, just something quick to let that person kind of let go and know that the team's in motion.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Well said. Good. I'm glad you waited till the end. It was a great thing to close with. I just want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen, and remind everybody to please stay focused, take things day by day. And a big thank you, of course, to everybody in the front lines of everything that's going on in our new now right now.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. And remember, as we get used to the new now, as we get used to this whole working from home piece that most of us have never done before, adapt and evolve. You don't need to set your schedule today and stick with it for the next month just because you set a schedule. If it's not working, fix it. If you think you can do something better, fix it. Adapt, evolve, and grow.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thanks,
for listening,
Fish.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Now, no excuses. It's time to put everything you listen to into action. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop listening and doing nothing with this information. Take this information, implement it into your day, kick some ass, grow your business, grow your sales, make more money, have more fun, have a better life, period, the end.
What he said.